Hi everyone, it's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making this card using this Mama Elephant stamp set. Obviously you know this is my favorite. I can't get enough of this stamp set. This is called In My Heart, and I'm going to be using this little girl image here, and I'm just going to mount that to my block here, and I'm going to stamp that down using the my favorite things, black English hybrid ink. So I'm going to stamp that down onto a piece of white cardstock. It's just a piece of my favorite white cardstock, which is the the white cardstock, the PaperTrey ink Stamper Select white cardstock. I was having to clean off something on my stamp there that had got onto my stamp, and I had to get that off first before stamping down. So anyway, I've stamped that image down, and we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of Copic coloring here. And I'm going to start off with her skin, and I'm just laying down that darkest color. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that a lot of the Copic coloring that I do is fairly simple. I try to do a little bit of shading, you know, to give that effect, but it's not that, you know, it's not too complicated or anything like that. So which is fine with me. So I just do what looks good, or I think that looks good anyway. So I'm going ahead and color her skin. I've just finished coloring her face, and I'm going to go ahead and color her hands and her legs and get all that down. And these images, like I've mentioned before, they're very small, so I think that's another reason why I like using these the stamp set, because it is such a small image, and I don't have to really make a big fuss of my coloring. So I'm just adding some color now to her hair here, and I'm just starting out with a light shade and just going to fill that in. And I'm trying so hard to work on my technique here, the feathering technique. I still got a long way to go, but I think that I've got it down for the most part, or I'm getting there anyway. I'm giving it a good try anyway. So I've got some of my lightest color laid down here. Now I'm going to go in with a middle shade. I've got this E15 that I'm going to start out using. So we're going to lay down that color. And then, like again, I'm going to use that feathering technique, and it does give it a little bit of illusion or effect that, you know, it is hair. So it didn't turn out too bad, but you know, you give it a good shot, and that's what matters. So now I'm going to go in with another darker shade, this E18, and again with the feathering technique, I'm going to feather that in and give a little bit more of dimension to her hair. No rhyme or reason, just kind of adding color, and you know, that's what makes it easy. Now I'm going to go back in with the E33, which was my lightest color, and I'm just going to color that all in and kind of blending all of those colors together. So you can see it turned out fairly pretty good, I think. What do y'all think? So now I'm going to work on her little dress, and I'm going to use R22, which is my light shade of pink. And if I didn't mention it before in the beginning of the video, which I'm sure you would have figured it out by the title, but this is going to be another Valentine card. The last card that I made, the last video previous to this one, was also a Valentine card, and I don't think I mentioned it in the video, but I made that card specifically for my husband, so I'm going to give that one to him. And then this one I may give to a friend or something like that, or I may even send it to my mom. So I'm just kind of filling in her dress, and now I'm coloring in her shoes. Super simple coloring, no rhyme or reason, like I said. And then I'm going to go in with another darker shade, R43. And I'm just going to add a little bit more of that deeper shading on the side there to give a little bit more definition. And then I'm going to go back with my lightest color and blend that all together. And then I'm going to, once I get done with that, I'm going to start in with the little details of her dress around her collar and the little ruffles. I'm going to color those in with a different color. So I'm done coloring her dress, and I'm going to work on the rest of her dress, which is, like I said, the collar and the ruffles. And I'm starting out with the BG15. I just love these teal aqua colors. I'm really drawn to them. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of shading. I'm really not going to do any shading at all because it's just too much of a small space. But so now we've got her all colored in, and I'm going to take my coordinating die, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut her out. So I'm going to get my die cut machine, and I'm going to run that through. That's what's so great about having the coordinating dies with your stamp sets. Yee, I can't live without them. Alright, so now I'm going to use some pattern paper. This is an oldie but a goodie. It's from Crate Paper, and it's called Love Notes. And I really haven't used this one too often, but I really do like it. And I've picked this teal, like ombre, not really ombre, but it's sort of like an ombre effect to the pattern paper. And I'm also using these Femme frames, which is one of my favorites still. And I'm using the stitched frame for that blue pattern paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose another pattern paper with the hearts. And I'm going to use the scallop frame for it. So that heart pattern paper will be the backing. And then I'm going to put that the blue paper in front. So I'm going to go ahead and move away, or before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and, since I got my machine out, I'm going to die cut this sending die cut from Simon Says Stamp using some, I believe this is Coastal Cabana cardstock from Stampin' Up. It matched pretty well with the pattern paper, so that's why I decided to use it. So I'm going to go, I ran that through my die cut machine. I'm going to take that off of my die cut machine and carefully take the little pieces with it too, so especially the dot of the eye. So now I'm going to work on my card base here. I believe this is called Candy Hearts. This is some cardstock from Bazzill. It's really, really thick. I believe it's, I want to say 100 pound or 110 pound. I don't know which one it is, but it's very thick. Really, really good cardstock. If you're in the market for a good cardstock, I do recommend Bazzill. It's one of the better ones out there for card makers. So I'm scoring that at cutting that down at 4 1/4, and I'm going to get my scoring tool out here, and I'm going to score that at 5 1/2. Try to give that a good crease, and I remembered how thick this cardstock was when I went to go to score it. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and get my Teflon bone folder out here and make sure that I do have a really good crease. So I'm doing that. Getting that good crease down. Now I'm going to go ahead and place some of my pattern papers onto my card base. And I'm going to be using my Tombo Extreme Adhesive. I recently hauled this and shared that with you all. I'm going to be using that adhesive, but I'm kind of placing things out here just to see where I want everything. I like to do that and make before I actually commit to where I'm going to place everything, especially when I'm using a really strong adhesive. So I was just kind of fussing with that sending die cut, just taking out all the little pieces with it. And then now I'm going to do a little bit more stamping, or do some stamping. I'm going to use this stamp set here, and it's going to use that sentiment, sending you Valentine hugs. It's called, well, the part that I'm stamping is "You, Valentine Hugs." So I'm going to mount that to my stamping block here, and I'm going to stamp that out and using the same black ink as before, the My Favorite Things Hybrid Black Licorice. And I'm just making sure that's where I want it, so I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. And I'm going to place that down right beside my little girl image here. So I like that. So now I'm going to just remove all those pieces and add my Tombo Extreme Adhesive. I really do like this adhesive. This is like the second time I've used it, and it does. It's really strong stuff, so I do recommend it. So I'm placing that onto my scalloped piece here. Just getting that laid down, getting that lined up. I'm going to go ahead and also add adhesive to the back of my main piece here and add it to my card base. And with this adhesive, you have to, you saw me go to the side. That's how you get it to release from the tape runner. You just can't pull straight up. You have to go to the side. So I'm getting my pattern paper lined up here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start adding the rest of my images. So I'm going to add some foam adhesive and get that placed down. So this is going to have a lot of dimension. And then I'm going to put my die cut using my Martha Stewart glue pen here. And I'm placing that down. Sometimes working with these die cuts like this, especially with my fumbly fingers, it can be a challenge sometimes, as you can see. So just really getting that laid down there. And I did add the little dot of my eye. As you see, I'm putting glue down there, but I didn't really show whenever I put the eye on there. Now I'm going to be using this one irRESISTible. It's called a Pico Embellisher. This is from Sukaneko. And I love this stuff. It has that really fine chisel tip to it. And this is the color white, so I'm adding that to her little buttons. And that pretty much finishes up the card for today. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye-bye.